Hey everybody, this is Brian with Bear Cards 34. Today I'm coming back with another episode of TTM Blast from the Past. This is episode 9. So TTM stands for Through the Mail, which is where you write letters to players and hope for return autographs. So these are a blast from the past because these are players that I wrote to back in the early 90s. And so this first one here, this is Jesse Campbell. He was a second-round pick in 1991 from North Carolina State. He was selected by the Eagles. He only played 1 year with the Philadelphia Eagles. Then he went on to play with Washington and also the Giants. He had an 8-year career, and he is currently the assistant principal at New Bern High in North Carolina. So I was really happy to get that back from him during his rookie season. Okay, next up is Tim Jordan. Now, these are just cards I had from pulling packs, but back in the day, I wrote to Tim Jordan, and he wrote me back this really nice letter right here. And this one was one that I really appreciated as a kid. So it says, "Dear Brian, thank you for your letter. I appreciate your compliments. Hopefully someday you can come see one of our games and meet me afterwards. Take care and study hard. Sincerely, Tim Jordan, number 85. P.S. Just say no to drugs." So this really made my day. When I got this and saw that "and meet me afterwards," I remember begging my parents for us to be able to go to a game so that I could meet him. Never happened, but definitely appreciate him being so thoughtful to send a letter like that for me. All right, next up, I've got Roger Craig. He was part of that historic 1983 draft class. He played at Nebraska and was drafted by the 49ers in the second round. He had an excellent 11-year career, mostly with the Niners, but he also played a little bit with the Raiders and Vikings to round things out. Two of his most notable seasons were 1988, where he was the Offensive Player of the Year. He rushed for over 1,500 yards and had 76 catches that year. And I remember he had this great high step where his knees would just get so high. He ran really hard, really tough. And he was a great part of the success of the 49ers teams. He also was after the 88 season, I believe, he was the first running back to have 100 yards receiving in a Super Bowl. He also was the first to score 3 touchdowns in a Super Bowl. His other great season, I mean, he had a lot of good seasons, but 1985 was a real standout. He rushed for 1,000 yards, and he had 1,000 yards receiving that same year. He's a 4-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, and a 3-time Super Bowl champion. And my question is, why is he not in the Hall of Fame? Hopefully one of these days. Now, I have noticed that he's really good at TTMs these days as well, and a lot of times he'll put some really cool inscriptions on. So I may write to him again just to get some of those. I think that would be pretty cool. A great player, and seems to be, and always has been apparently, really good at writing back. Okay, so next up, this is Mike Devlin. This is his Topps 2000 card. It looks like he's meeting with one of the Raiders after a football game there with the Cardinals. So this is just a card I pulled in a pack. However, I wanted to show his picture so you guys would be able to put the face with the name. And so here's what I got from him. He sent me a postcard, home of the Buffalo Bills, Rich Stadium. And this was a really awesome letter from him. So here we go. So it has the Buffalo Scenic prints, a little bit about the stadium, and then his letter there. "Dear Brian, thanks for the note. It means a lot in the dog days of two-a-days to get a letter. You were my first letter as a Bill, and it made me very excited. Remember to always work hard and go 110%, and you will end up on top. God bless, Mike Devlin, number 62. This is just one of those, again, where I really appreciate it, especially now as an adult looking back. But being able to write to him, that was his rookie season. Just the humility in that letter and the fact that he really appreciated me writing to him means a lot to me. He played at Iowa in college, and his cousin Joe Devlin also played for the Buffalo Bills. And he played in 58 games over 7 years, half of those with the Bills, half with the Cardinals, and retired after the 99 season. But he's still in the NFL. He's currently an assistant offensive line coach for the Baltimore Ravens. So again, really appreciate him taking the time to write that really thoughtful postcard letter. All right, next up we've got Neil O'Donnell. He was a third-round pick in 1990 out of Maryland and had a pretty good 14-year career. He's best known for leading the Steelers to Super Bowl 30. They lost to the Cowboys, but they had a great season that year. He also made the Pro Bowl that year and had a couple very solid seasons, along with being a solid backup for many years. I always loved getting these in the mail, so you'd write to players, you had no idea who might reply, who you might see something back from. Some players I would send cards to, some I didn't. Some players would send cards back that I had never given them, but a lot of times I loved getting these, the blow-up glossy photos, and so this is one from Neil O'Donnell that I always really liked. Next, we've got Jerry Fontenot. He was an offensive lineman for the Chicago Bears, third-round draft pick back in 1989 out of Texas A&M. He played 8 years with the Bears, another year with the Saints, another with the Bengals. He retired after 2004. He started in nearly 200 games, and he was a coach afterwards, a lot of years with the Packers. He won a Super Bowl ring with the Packers as a coach. So this letter here, Brian, thanks for the letter. Best of luck this season. Stay healthy. Jerry Fontenot, 67. So big fan of that one. You can see Jim Harbaugh calling plays under center, and it looks like they're playing the Atlanta Falcons in that game. Okay, so next up, this was from 1991. Charles Mann wrote me back, and he sent this to me. And it's a little thing with some of the Washington football players, Washington Redskins, Washington Commanders, however we call them now, the Commanders. Darrell Green, Art Monk, and Charles Mann, three of the all-time great Washington football players, along with some other ones in here, just talking about the importance of the Bible and prayer. So he sent this out to me, along with a very thoughtful letter. So it has the Washington Redskins info here at the top. Okay, so this would have been in January of 92, so just after the 91 season. And it says, Dear Brian, this has been an amazing season, and it is not over yet. We have a big game this Sunday, and hopefully our biggest one later this month. All the players and coaches would agree with me that our fans are a large part of our finishing the regular season with the best record in the NFL. This season was special to me for another reason. My wife gave birth to our second child this fall. Children are indeed a gift from God. Being a father has really taught me the importance of prayer in my life. One of my prayers is for my children, my wife and I, and all of our friends, is similar to what the Apostle Paul prayed for the people of Ephesus, that Christ would dwell in the hearts and that we would grasp how wide, long, high, and deep is the love of Christ. On behalf of all the Redskins organization, I want to once again thank you for your support and wish you a joyous and meaningful new year. Sincerely, Charles Mann. And then right here, the Super Bowl champion letterhead. So yeah, just a very cool letter, very thoughtful of him to send that my way. And last up for today, we've got J Hilgenberg. I was going to mention he's from a family full of football players. His brother Joel played for the New Orleans Saints, and in fact, on J Hilgenberg's last season in 1993, he played with his brother on the Saints. His dad was an All-American at Iowa, and his uncle Wally Hilgenberg, Walter Wally Hilgenberg, was a great player on the Vikings. In fact, Jay's middle name is Walter as well, I believe named after his uncle. So J Hilgenberg was a great player, obviously part of that Bears Super Bowl 20 team, but he was a 4-time All-Pro, 7-time Pro Bowler, voted as one of the 100 greatest Bears of all time. So he really did have a great impact on the Chicago Bears and was a big part of Walter's success in the second half of his career. So J Hilgenberg, great player. Love getting that. I love that picture. You see Jim McMahon behind him going back to pass. Just love the picture. Love the auto. One of my favorites from when I was a kid for sure. So very happy to have that. All right, so thanks again, everybody, for watching the video. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoy this kind of stuff. It's always fun for me to take a look back at some of the kindness and the good memories growing up and having players send mail back to me. It was kind of like, I mentioned this before, but my brother and I did this, a lot of this, and it would kind of be like coming home every day to Christmas, or opening up the mailbox and seeing what was inside. So yeah, everybody, thanks again. Appreciate it. I'll be back with more videos in the near future. Everybody be well. Thanks.